Translation. One who wants to be free of material entanglement should take to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and give up the contamination of ignorance involving pious and impious activities. Thus, one regains his original identity, just as a block of gold or silver sheds all dirt and becomes purified when treated with fire. May that inexhaustible Supreme Personality of Godhead become our spiritual master, for he is the original spiritual master of all other spiritual masters. Om Agyanti Marandasha Gyanam Janasalakia Chakshuram Viritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swakadatka Nityananda Fudandu Vasudha Prana Valavajani Vijivata Bhati Krishna Prema Padapabo Patmavati Sutta Sriman Sachinanda Purva Jova Fomagoya Vatata Rakta Gora Kalevara Namo Mahavaraya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Sri Namaha Tapta Kanchana Gora Girare Vindavanishwari Frisavana Suti Devi Pranani Harigari He Krishna Kanuna Sindhu Dino Pando Jagatpate Gobisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Hari Hari Bo. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In human life, one is meant to undergo austerity to purify one's existence. Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam sudyet. Because of contamination by the modes of material nature, one continues in the cycle of birth and death. Karanam gunasango shat sat asat yoni janmashu. Therefore, the purpose of human life is to purify oneself of this contamination so that one can regain his spiritual form and not undergo this cycle of birth and death. The recommended process of decontamination is devotional service to the Lord. There are various processes for self-realization such as karma, jnana and yoga, but none of them is equal to the process of devotional service. As gold and silver can be freed from all dirty contamination by being put into fire, but not merely by being washed, the living entity can be awakened to his own identity by performing devotional service, yat sevaya, but not by karma, jnana or yoga. Cultivation of speculative knowledge or practice of yogic gymnastics will not be helpful. We all, as devotees, we have the desire to become a pure devotee, isn't it? That's why we're here. And in the beginning, you might think, well, I'm quite together, I'm quite pure, etc. But then, when you mature in devotional service, you realize how much dirt there is, a whole block behind your ear, and there, and there, and there. In the beginning, you didn't notice it, and then you come, because you purify yourself, so your senses become also purified, so you notice more the things, even little things, which you didn't notice before, and sometimes even the big things, which you also completely overlooked. So, I have a strong desire not to come back to this material world, I don't have a desire to go to the heavenly planets, although I do have a desire to enjoy, but I know I won't be happy there either. Because, when I was young, 22, and everything was in working order, I still wasn't happy, I already wasn't happy. Because, like you, most of you, there was something missing. Because when I was 23, I saw a wrinkle, and I thought, oh, my youth is over. And then I saw that everyone is going to die, so I will be dying too. And so I became really anxious to find out, why am I alive? What is the goal of life? Not looking for God at all, looking for the truth, why I was alive. And I told my closest friend said I was going to go to India. I was going to go to a forest, don't know why, to find out why I was alive. I thought I would become enlightened in the forest. Probably wouldn't have survived long. So then I came in contact with Christian consciousness, and all the questions which I couldn't find in any other religion or philosophy were just there. And then the devotee said, well, so now you don't have to go to India anymore, isn't it? You found, why don't you move in the temple? And I thought, okay, like that. So, like now, it's the perfect time to be at the manor, weather-wise. But when I walk around the manor, I see beautiful flowers in bloom, but then I see some of them who are already withered and dead, and that makes me sad, depresses me. And I long to be in a world where every flower is just perfect. There were no wrinkle, where there's no old age and no disease and no disharmony and no horrible flies or mosquitoes, where it's just everything perfect and everyone gets along with each other. Wouldn't you like to go there? So I have that strong desire to go there. But I have the misfortune that I also like to enjoy. So these two things are always, and each one of us has that in more or less degrees, to fight against your senses who want to enjoy, and your soul who wants to enjoy more subtle, more on soul platform, and your mind who always on the side of your senses who want to enjoy on your bodily, to give your body pleasure. So the whole art of devotional life or of spiritual life is to all the time to discriminate from what is sense gratification and what is for the benefit of my soul. And sometimes you have to go, okay, you do it. And then afterwards you will feel good, because whenever you follow that voice which says, come on, enjoy, you end up always frustrated that it wasn't that good as you thought it was going to be, isn't it? Do you have that experience? No, none of you. Okay, yeah. Well, I thought I was the only one. So that's Maya. Maya is illusion. And Maya is a servant of the Lord. She puts a veil in front of us, and because of that veil, we identify with our body and with the bodies around it, thinking that body is real. And then when you see them back in 30 years, then you have a fright. I saw someone outside yesterday. I hope he's not listening. Anyway. And he was a fighter brahmachari, Sankirtan devotee, all shiny, etc. And he's about 15 or 20 years younger than me. And then I saw him back yesterday, and he was all, and looked very, lost his luster. And I said, wow, how the body can change, Sometimes you see people who haven't changed much, but sometimes they really change. And how does a change come to someone? Because they say, when you're 20, that's the face you're born with, and when you're 50, that's the face you make of it, of your life. So if you're all the time depressed, then you get depressing lines. And if you're happy, you get happy lines. And if you eat healthy and are peaceful, then your face is also peaceful. And if you disturb them, like that. So of course health is not so good for your luster. But if you're healthy, health is good, then you should have, by being a devotee, by chanting Hare Krishna, you should be shiny. Well, I'm shiny, but I put oil on my face, so that's not real shine. Look at the others, they are real shine, like the brahmacharis. Or many of them. They have a shiny face, Prabhupada said, they a glow. And sometimes the family, when they see the child back after they've been like 2 months in the temple, they think, wow, you look so wonderful. And then they might not think much of Krishna consciousness, but they think it does a lot of good to my son. He looks so much healthier and happier. So I continue with the purport. The word Varnam refers to the luster of one's original identity. The original luster of gold or silver is brilliant. Similarly, the original luster of the living being who is part of the Satchitananda Vigraha is the luster of Ananda, or pleasure. Ananda Vyasat. Every living entity has the right to become Anandamoy, joyful, because he's part of the Satchitananda Vigraha, Krishna. So why should the living being be put into tribulation because of dirty contamination by the material modes of nature? Therefore, one should adopt the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is described here as Guru, Guruhu, the spiritual master of all spiritual masters. Even though we may not have the fortune to contact the Supreme Lord personally, the Lord's representative is as good as the Lord himself, because such a representative does not say anything unless it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Godhead. Stop. Full stop. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore gives a definition of a guru. Yare deka tarikaha Krishna Upadesh. The bona fide spiritual master, guru, is he who advises his disciples exactly in accordance with the principles spoken by Krishna. Yeah. The bona fide guru is he who has accepted Krishna as guru. This is the Guru Parampara system. The original guru is Vyasadeva, because he is a speaker of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, wherein everything spoken relates to Krishna. Therefore, Guru Puja is known as Vyas Puja. In the final analysis, the original guru is Krishna. His disciple is Narada, whose disciple is Vyas. And this way we gradually come in touch with the Guru Parampara. One cannot become a guru if he does not know what the personality of Godhead, Krishna, or his incarnation wants. The mission of the guru is the mission of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. So, in the Western world you see many gurus. You see posters of gurus, Guru Mataji, Guru this, Guru that, and they have names like Sahaja Yoga, and this yoga, and that yoga, Vikram Yoga, this yoga, but does any one of them mentions the name Krishna, mentions God? No. They just speak flowery language of the Vedas, to bewilder people. That sounds very good, sounds very deep, thank you. Like that, and people are in awe, and they all steal knowledge from the Vedas, but they use it to show off. Sometimes it happens that non-devotees are impressed by devotees, that they are very learned, not knowing that they actually, repeating what they have heard. Right, and sometimes have not really realized it themselves. I know a story of one girl who met a Sankirtan devotee, who was very handsome also, but he was speaking so beautifully, and she fell in love with him, like that, and they ultimately married. But then one day, this boy was quite sentimental, and not too intelligent, but he was sincere at one point. So one day he was doing books distribution, and then he saw someone fleeing from a jewelry shop, a robber, and he chased him. And then the robber turned to him and shot him. So then the boy, was badly hurt in his vital parts. But he never got over it. He couldn't take it that this happened to him. And then he started finding faults in everything. And then the girl lost his interest and left him. He became sour, and she saw him from what he actually, that he wasn't that Krishna conscious as she thought he was. He was. So I would have said, if I would be there, it is not our duty. It's a hero, your great hero. He also got a golden watch from the jeweler in thanks, or a silver watch. But it's not our duty as a Sankirtan devotee to chase after a robber. There's other people like that. Your time is to save the souls of people, not merely some gold or silver of a jewelry shop. Do you agree with that? Like that. So, but he didn't have that conception. He was more being he was good. He was really a nice guy, someone everyone liked. But it was sentimental. You see, he couldn't discriminate between what is for the soul, and because there are many devotees who are very nice, but they're sentimental, and there are many devotees who are grumpy, but they write on. but the best is to have a devotee who is nice and write on, be able to discriminate what is for your soul the best, and what is Maya. You understand? Like that. But better to have a grumpy devotee than a nice devotee who's wishy-washy and tells you, doesn't really help you, just blows you boil. Oh, rather than like that. So, so Krishna consciousness, for me, when I came in contact with Krishna consciousness, it was just like, and probably for you also, it was like this load falling off you, like I'm home. I am finally, everything makes sense. Everything makes sense. Everything. Like that. So Maya is there to test us. It's her engagement, her service, to test those who are on their path, on the spiritual path, to purify themselves, how sincere and how knowledgeable we are and how determined we are. And so in this case of this devotee, he lost it because he was more inclined to being a goodie than, using his brains to be what should I do, what shouldn't I do, like that. And so Maya is testing us, and the difficulty is that how more you become fixed up, she finds better ways or more subtle ways to sidetrack you. And the most subtle ones are profit, distinction, adoration, like that. People start all saying, oh, you're a pure devotee, you're a great soul, and you start thinking, I must be good. Everyone says it, like that. So yes, and you start thinking it yourself like that, although you actually knew you were. So it's so it can be so gross, Maya, but can be also so subtle that it's so hard to figure out what is to be done and what isn't to be done according to the right time, the right circumstances. When should you speak up to correct? When should you just put a hand on your mouth and just say it later? And it's so difficult. It's so difficult. But everything is there in the scriptures. And everything is there, in all the books which are written about Prabhupada, in all his conversations, in his morning walks. You only hear one time something, and that one. So that's why it's very important for devotees to be able to know everything what Prabhupada had ever said. So there's MP3s out there, which are available. And do you have them in your library, an MP3 with all Prabhupada lectures? Yeah. So it's like that. And so if you like you're not initiated yet. So you listen to Prabhupada, and then you choose a guru who's speaking the same way as Prabhupada. Like that, in this line. And if you hear Prabhupada speaking, some people say, well, yes, he was just saying the ABC, that's what they say. Now we're talking about Krishna stealing the food from his friend's mouth and put it in his mouth, nectar stories like that. But Prabhupada was all the time correcting us, like we were yesterday talking about heavy gurus and gurus being heavy to the disciples, and then who was it? Someone would say Shivaram Swami said, you think I'm heavy, that Krishna is much heavier than me, and Krishna says Prabhupada is much heavier than me, like that. Who wants a guru who says, Haribol, oh, you're doing nicely. No, you want to go, hey, what is it? Why, get yourself together, shape up. What is it? Like this. Who encourage you lovingly, because a chastisement, because if he doesn't care, he wouldn't say anything to you. But if he corrects you, if you say, Prabhu, don't sit like this, or Prabhu, you shouldn't do this like that, or stand like this, or don't speak like this, or like that, then he's concerned with you. So you should be happy if someone corrects you. But our false ego is that, because, including myself, no one wants to be corrected. Hari Hari Bol. This is one of the most beautiful outfits. It's so exquisite. Very simple, but so elegant and opulent because of the simplicity. Lovely. And it dressed very nicely as well, especially Mother Sita. So you need a guru who has time for you. Srila Prabhupada, although he has thousands of disciples, even if someone gave him a little present, even a handkerchief or a pair of socks, or if someone wrote him something, someone not even his disciple, he found the time, despite his busy schedule, to write them back. And like I myself, I try to write back to everyone, but I find that I write letters to people and they don't even respond, and I find it painful. And my false ego also find it insulting, like that. But I find it impersonal and like that. Anyway, but so like that. So if you want to, it is said that if you choose a guru, then you should travel 1 year with them to find out, how they behave. Because they might behave very nicely when you see them, but you don't know what the rest of the time, like that. They might, like that. So, and also then the guru can also test the disciple to see how obedient is my disciple to follow my instructions. Who wants to have a disciple, who you instruct and they go, well, that's your opinion. Do you want to take the sin of that such a person? I don't, like that. So, like that. So Krishna consciousness is to purify ourselves. And you can only become purified if you're honest. You can be the most lusty, the most angry, the most greedy, the most crazy person. But if you have this desire to be sane, to be not lusty, to be not greedy, to be pure and simple and humble, that is more important than be very intelligent or be very too materially together like that. This strong desire and to please the deities, the Lord, to please Srila Prabhupada by distributing his books, by please the deities by cooking nice offerings or dressing them nicely, making garlands for them, or by pleasing the Lord by spreading his glories, by again preaching in any kind of field, in the university, on the street, to any guest who comes here. And in this way, Krishna, you become pleased. I have, from past experience, from my own experience, certain people, I have a natural liking to them. Do you have that as well? That some people you have a natural, you can get along with them. Other people, they're not, you wouldn't associate with them. But that somehow or other, they're always so nice to you that you start liking them because they think of you and they're considerate of you. Then you think, oh, he's quite nice, or she, or whatever, like that. So Krishna, we are like Krishna is. If even, of course he likes all of them. But, if we've been abominable and horrible to him for many lifetimes, then if we turn to him and try to please him, then immediately, you do one step towards him, he takes 10 steps to you, like that. And in this way, you make spiritual advancement. So it's all up to you. It's all up to you. And how eager you are. And this eagerness you show from the very moment you wake up. It starts there. Your senses go, no. And your intelligence saying, oh, if you wake up now. Mind go, So, it starts there. And if you can control that first, your mind, at that very first moment you wake up, and preach to your mind, and defeat his arguments, and saying, I want to get up, because I can chant some rounds before Mangalarti. I love chanting before Mangalarti. I know tired, I take rest later. No, let me get up. Okay. And then afterwards he feels okay, the mind. After then he's peaceful. Like that. Do you agree with that? Because here I don't see many people before Mangalarti, more Matajis than of the Brahmacharya ashram. Of course you work very hard. But chanting before Mangalarti, that goes so quick. Your mind is so peaceful. After Mangalarti, I'm tired already. Before Mangalarti, it's so nice, so nice. So please, try to do an extra endeavor while I'm here. To think of that. In the morning, the mind, no, let me try. And you find, and then once you know it, once you've tasted that, then you remember yesterday I felt good, let me do it again. Like that. And in this way you gradually, you can control that mind. Like I get very quickly upset. Anyone who looks bad at me, or speaks, who is rude, or I'm not talking about non-devotees. My heart goes, ow. Every one of us, because the soul is so sensitive, like that. And if I get corrected, I also go, ow. My mind goes, like that. But then afterwards I think, yes, he's right. Thank you. Like that. But I myself have the tendency to correct a lot. Somehow or other I think it's my duty, but it's not my duty, but somehow I think, well, if I don't say it, no one's going to say it. So I have the tendency, especially if it's towards the deities or towards Prabhupada or whatever, if I see something like it used to be like that and it's not done, then I have the tendency to mention it. But, and then some people say, oh, thank you, Prabhu, and others says, no one ever told me that, but in a negative way. Or I say, Prabhu, you sing a little nasal. What do you mean? So that's the mind. The mind says, what do you mean? I'm correct. How dare you say that? How dare I'm a professional singer. And one time, in 1973, when I was a young devotee, Hans Dutta, who is have you ever heard of him? He is a fabulous singer. He has a beautiful voice. And he was organizing these Hare Krishna festivals in Berlin and Hamburg. And you know this picture which you had there on the street? That was one in Stockholm. And he had one in Amsterdam. And I was singing in the chorus. But I was doing a kind of weird harmony. And then the sound engineer told me, get off stage. My mind went, so it's like that, the Krishna, like Krishna doesn't want you to become proud. So then he finds ways, to as soon as you have a little proud, then you just take the rug and your feet, you tumble like that. And then when that happens, I think, oh, Krishna, you're naughty, but you're right. Thank you for reminding me like that. Any question or comment?